creating new brands on Amazon, I've realized that there are certain principles that allow you to go from just the standpoint of just making money and finding products that will work to switching your thoughts towards how do I make this product a brand to create feelings in other people. And you're a perfect example in which, even though you are in the physical product space now, but that's not your focus.
Right.
There's certain principles that start to create feelings in others, and I wanted to hear what you think is important when it comes to branding, like tips that you have that allow you selling a self-development product to create feelings in other people. Like, what is it that allows that?
So I actually was like, this morning I was getting out of the shower and my cell phone was right on by the sink, and I was like turning on. I just like to listen to some videos or podcasts until I'm getting dressed. So I click on this video, and I click on Instagram, and I swipe down, and I see this ad for manscaping. And it's got the voice of, I can't remember who it is, who the actor is, and it's all about these clippers that you can cut your ball, or you can shave your balls with, but never risk cutting yourself. And the whole ad was built around this manscaping product. And the whole messaging in the brand was edgy. Talking about what's taboo, yet offering a very practical solution. So if you look at brands that have stuck out, most branding today is individual. Like, company brands are very difficult to build right now, which is to build loyalty towards something. Most of what we're experiencing is a loyalty towards someone and their face's association to something. You know, Kylie Jenner, first billionaire at 21 as a woman, right? Youngest female billionaire ever. And inside of that, what was the brand? Yes, you had the product, but it was the linking to a personal brand. So part of this has been very interesting to watch, because Warrior was built because of a personal brand. It was me. I was at the core of the heartbeat of Warrior. Now, over time, 7 years, Warriors began to have an identity and a brand that's itself, but it started out with me. So one of the things, even in the manscaping game, they had an individual, they had a voice, a well-known voice. I can't remember. It's the guy that does, like, makes his pecs like bounce. I could just recognize his voice. But and he's the Old Spice commercials, etc. And so it was a very common piece, but they pushed the edge. Like, they showed walnuts and talked about, you know, keeping clean balls. And why do you want to get? No lady wants a man with hairy balls with cuts on them. Like, they're saying stuff that's edgy. So if you look inside the product space, everybody's trying to stick out, and yet everybody wants you to feel something. But what helps people feel things is not you pushing the envelope of entertainment, it's pushing the line of reality, which is speaking to real shit. Like, when your brand speaks to real shit, it's easy to invoke feelings in people. When you're trying to hype everybody up, it's very difficult to invoke those feelings outside of a short burst emotion, which becomes nothing more than a swipe left, swipe right, spin, 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 which is what everybody's brands have become. So even on Amazon, it wouldn't matter. You put competing products together. There's something in the way that it's packaged and also the messaging around it. I wasn't interested in manscaping clippers, yet I bought manscaping clippers. Because why? Because I felt something, which was, it was funny, because it was so real.
Yeah.
Like, the funniest comedians are the ones that tell jokes about real life shit. It's stuff we really go through. Some of the funniest comedians on the planet, they don't come up with really grotesque shit. It's not always sexual. They talk, Ellen DeGeneres, one of the funniest comedians I've heard recently, she just talks about normal shit.
Yeah.
Like brushing your teeth. So the point I give on the branding side is if you do not have the courage to talk about reality in today's game, your brand effectiveness becomes very low, if non-existent. And so now you're just another toothpaste on a mile. This is why you look at all major brands are linked up to a person who's trying to help you invoke a feeling. They sell insurance and they show old people happily walking down the beach. They're trying to invoke a feeling, right? Well, you take certain figures, the Verizon guy. The Verizon guy became the Sprint guy, right? But Verizon forever built their brand off of the wake of a guy with black glasses who walked around and said, "Can you hear me now?" Which was speaking to something we all face as a problem, which was our fucking cell phones not working in the beginning because we were out of range. And Verizon was offering a solution, but we were connected to a guy that was connected to a company. He was a funny guy that was embedded in our minds. Now he made a major swap, got paid a shitload of money, and went to Sprint.
Yeah.
He couldn't even walk around in public without his gear on, the way he was dressed for the commercials. So you're building a brand right now, but the most important thing that exists inside of a brand is whoever the face of the brand is has to exude the certainty that people are missing today. There's a lot of people talking, not a lot of people speaking. There's a lot of people sharing, not a lot of people speaking. There's a lot of people sharing, but not a lot of people connecting. We're super connected, but we're completely dysfunctionally disconnected. So for me, the way I built all 7 companies was the same game. And I'm in financial services. We're in the hair game. I'm in a supplement game. I'm physical product supplements. I'm inside the game of books and shipping and publishing. We're also in the coaching and training space. And across all these companies, we start with the same thing. What is the unique, painful edge that we're going to start with? What is the real thing that we can talk about over and 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 over again? In hair, I talk about being a slave behind the chair, which was a feeling. But it only makes sense to a hairstylist.
Yeah.
Be a slave behind the chair. And then we speak to that pain, but we speak to it real. So our brands have been built with a push-pull between pain and pleasure. A painful game where we spend 80% of our time hooking the pain and 20% of our time pulling to the pleasure.
I love it. There's a big difference when you have, like, let's just say, maybe a water bottle. When someone buys that, they don't feel anything, but if you can, as he said, like, speak to a certain pain that they have, whether that was maybe he was dehydrated when he got food poisoning and how this water hydrated him, then it feels like this product was made for the specific reason of the problem they have. And because of that, it becomes a brand rather than just a commodity or a product that people just buy and they don't feel anything from it. It's kind of like eBay when you're buying, you're not really looking at the store, you don't really care.